All right. So I want to welcome everyone to today's session of Getting Started with HelloSign. My name is Kate. I'm a customer success program manager here, and I'm going to be walking you through our web app today. So, a quick overview of what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to take a look at creating a signature request, as well as streamlining those requests by using templates. We'll flip it around and look at the signer experience and then jump back into our account where we can look at where to track your documents and take a look at your settings. Then I will open it up for a brief Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So if you do have any questions, feel free to enter them into the Q&A section of your Zoom control panel. Now, I do want to note that we will be going over our web app today only. We will not be reviewing any of our other products today. And I will be going through the demo within an account that is on our Enterprise Plus plan, but I will be sure to point out those features that are only available on the Enterprise Plus so that we're going over those that are available on the majority of our plans. All right. So before we dive into the demo, I want to go over a couple of points here, which when you're using HelloSign, you're really getting a lot of flexibility. So when you're setting up your documents, you can easily use the editor to place down a customized experience for your signers, whether you're creating a one-off send or you're setting up templates. You're really going to be able to create that customized, truly personalized experience. And then also when you're actually working with the finalized product there, so your completed document, you are going to have the comprehensive transaction trail, which will track all activity of the parties that are on the document. So you're going to be able to have that available to you on every single transaction. We also have flexibility for our signers. You're going to be able to sign your documents in pretty much anywhere. So you're going to be able to open them up, of course, on your laptop, desktop, and then also on your phone. You're going to be able to sign right there wherever you are. You can also use a tablet. And if you are using a tablet, you are going to be able to set up in-person signing with using template links. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the demo. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my demo account. All right, so here on our homepage, you're going to see you can easily jump into the requesting flow by selecting Sign or Send. You're also able to easily jump into creating a template by this second option here, which create a template. Before we go ahead and dive into the requesting flow, I want to point out a few navigational points here. So you're going to be able to jump into your settings easily by hovering over your login email in the upper right-hand corner here. You can save your signature here and also edit the signature that you have on file. Simply click on Edit. You can draw in your signature. You can type in. If you're typing it in, you can change the font. And then you can easily upload a photo of your signature as well. And then you have all your saved signatures here that you can select as your default. Additionally, in this drop-down menu here, you're going to be able to see the number of requests that you have left depending on your plan, as well as the number of templates you have left available to you, again, based on the plan that you're on. You can easily jump into your settings, and if you are on our Enterprise Plus plan, you'll be able to jump into your admin console. We'll take a closer look at those towards the end of the session. You also can jump into the requesting flow by selecting Signed Documents, which, jumping all the way over here to the left-hand side, you are going to be able to do the same by selecting Signed Documents here. If you are on Enterprise Plus, you will be able to utilize our bulk send option, which allows bulk sending within 250 people at a time. You'll be able to jump into the template section, documents, and integrations all here as well. So let's go ahead and create a request. So I'm going to select Sign or Send. Now your first step here is going to be uploading the file you'd like to use. So you can upload a file directly from your computer. You can use a template that you've already created. You can import from any of these file sharing services such as Dropbox or Google Drive, and then you can do a simple drag and drop. Let's go ahead and add a file from our computer here. And you're able to add additional files. So if you just needed to add another PDF here, for example, I can go ahead and select file here. So again, if you need to add additional files to create a packet for your signers to fill out, you can do so by just continuing to add additional files. Once you've created your packet here, you can also update the order by simply grabbing the document and rearranging the order here. On to our next step, which are signers. So here you want to go ahead and enter in your signer's information. So who's going to be signing this document? Now we have a few more options here. If you see the kebab menu on the right hand side, you can add signer off here, which is going to allow you to add a access code or use a text message to authenticate your signers. So basically what this would do is just add that extra layer of security. You can request attachments from your signers here. So all you need to do is select request attachment. Maybe you need proof of income. You can enter in instructions and you can make this required. You can request up to 5 attachments per signer per request. And then of course you can remove your signer. Also, before we move on to our next step, you're going to see enable signer reassignment. This allows for your signers to reassign this document to another individual. For example, if you are working with a sales contract and you're working with someone that has decision-making power, but not necessarily purchasing power, that person, instead of having to go back to you, the requester, and ask for an updated form, they can go ahead and reassign that to another individual. And then you can also set signer order. So who's going to sign first, second, and third. All right, let's move on to our editor. So by selecting next in the upper right-hand corner, we're now going to move into our editor where we're able to place our fields down. So these are going to be all of your standard fields here on your left-hand side. And then the only 2 here that are not standard to every plan are going to be drop downs and radio groups. So let's place a text box down. So I'm just going to select text box and then click where I'd like this. You can also do a simple drag and drop from that particular section as well. You can also resize by doing a simple drag from the bottom right-hand corner there. And you'll also notice as I place these down, the right-hand side menu updated to additional options for this particular field. So now I can assign this text field to any of the signers that I have. I can fill this out now. So if this is information that I already know, I can go ahead and fill this out so it can be customized. So I'll go ahead and enter in Tyler here. If I needed to edit my signers, I could easily select edit signers, jump in here and confirm that their information is correct, confirm that they are in the right order. I can assign signer order, I can remove someone, and I can add a signer as well. These are also going to default to required. So if you want to make this optional, you'll just want to uncheck this particular option here. Placeholder text is what I like to sort of call as your help text here. Go ahead and place in what you would like your signers to enter in here. So maybe I want reason for visit. So I can place that there. Really common when you're working with fields that don't already have a prompt there. You can update your formatting by updating your font as well as your font size. You also have the option for validation. So if you want to ensure specific information is going into this particular box, you can do so by using these options here. Field name is going to be for internal purposes, and it is mostly used for when you are on Enterprise Plus and you're downloading a CSV. And conditional logic is going to be specific to our Enterprise Plus plan. Now, when you're placing down another field, if I wanted to go ahead and place another field, I don't actually have to go back and select my text box again. You can see that the system remembered that I had already selected a text box, remembers the size, and remembers who it was last assigned to. So I could update this to Carol if I wanted to. Excuse me. So next I want to focus on our initials. So initials are a great option if you'd like to add an additional emphasis on specific passages. So, or if you're wanting them to sign off on specific lists of items, however you would like to use the initial function, you have that option here. So again, just like with any other, I can update who they're assigned to as I go through. Excuse me. Moving further down, let's grab our signatures. So I can place signature here, and I can place another one there. I can update these, who they're assigned to. And then also I have my date signed here. So your date signed is going to be a default field. So this is going to autofill with the current date that your particular signer is working on and finishing this particular document. Now, in this free space here, I do want to point out our checkboxes. Checkboxes are a great option for lists of items that maybe somebody's purchasing from or services. If you're using this for self-identification purposes, so on any HR or tax forms, things like that, you're able to do so. You can go ahead and just use two options, and I'll show you how you can ensure that only one option is selected, or as many as you need. So now, as you see, I've placed a bunch of these down, and they're not really in the best order. So I did a simple drag and drop over them to group them together in a way that I can now snap them into alignment by using these options along the top of my side editor here. Now, when I go down, you see you have an option here that says group checkboxes. So here, I'm going to go ahead and now group them together so they're dependent on each other. So from here, what I'm going to now be able to do is select a minimum, so requiring at least this amount of boxes that need to be checked by my signer, and providing a maximum. All right. Moving to our last section here, I do want to point out our autofill fields. So our autofill fields are a great option. If you have information that such as name and email, you already are going to have that on file since you enter that in when you're putting your signer's information in. If you wanted to use title or company name, if your signer has a HelloSign account and has their profile filled out, then this information will auto-populate for them. If they do not have a profile already set up, then what would happen is as they fill out, say, this first company option, the second company option would automatically be filled out. So let's place a few of these down here. So we have our title, and we have the company, and let's grab the email as well. And let's elongate that email because we know sometimes those emails can definitely run pretty long. Now we also see that we have this information on a second level here. So what I'm going to do, just like I did before with the checkboxes, is I'm going to group them together with a simple drag and drop. Now what I'm going to be able to do is copy them with a simple shortcut. And now I'm going to paste them with another shortcut here and drag them to where I want them placed. If I needed to actually update these to another signer, I could do so by simply clicking up Assign To on the right-hand side again, or I can leave them be. This is really useful when you're working with documents that have repetitive information, so you don't have to actually create them all over again. You can just go ahead and copy and paste. All right, so I placed all my fields down. Let's move on to our next step. So now we see we have our signers here. You can see that I have requested an attachment for my first signer here. If you'd like to add a CC, you will want to make sure that this is enabled within your settings, which I will point out when we get to that. And this just allows you to include someone in the email chain, but not necessarily the signing portion of the request. So the individual that is CC'd will receive an email letting them know that the signing experience has been kicked off. And then when it has been completed, they will get an email that lets them know it has been completed, and they will receive a finalized PDF copy. And then you have your title agreement. So, and let's do NDA for visit. You can also enter in an optional message if you'd like. And then when you're ready, send for signature in the upper right-hand corner. You're now redirected back to your home page, and you can see you have your document has been sent for signature. You can jump to your documents page by simply clicking here. Of course, you can always go directly there in your main navigation menu here. Now, before we jump into our signing experience, let's take a look how to streamline that process that we just went through by using a template. So I'm going to go ahead and select Create a Template here. Actually, let's go ahead and jump into our template section. So from your left-hand side menu, go ahead and select Templates here. And now you'll see you have two different options. You're going to have a standard template, which is going to allow you to include multiple signers, and you can customize the experience for each one of those signers. And then you're also going to have the option to create a template link with this Create a Link. A template link is going to be for a single signer only, and it's going to be the exact same experience for that signer every single time. This is also going to be how you're going to be able to set up in-person signing as well. So when you create a template link, you will be able to receive that link that you can then get to your signers however you see fit. So if you'd actually like to put this in your website, you'd be able to do so. If you'd like to send it in a personal email, you can do that as well. And again, as I mentioned, you can also set up in-person signing on a tablet. But for the purpose of this demo, let's go ahead and create a standard template. Now you're going to see that the majority of this is going to look exactly the same as we just went through, but I'll be sure to point out the differences. So that first step here looks exactly the same. All you need to do is include your file. So I'm going to go ahead and again upload a file from my computer. You can upload any type of file that you have. It does not have to be a PDF. You are able to upload a Word document as well. And we have a variety of different documents that we do support, which you can always check out in our Help Center as well. So now that I've added my file, I can of course add additional files if I need to, but if it's just the single file, I can go ahead and select Next. Now adding my signers. This is going to differ a little since we don't know the individual personally yet that we're going to be sending this to, but we do know the role that this person is going to represent. So I have a permission slip that I'm working with. So I'm going to have my guardian and my teacher. Otherwise, all the other things here are going to be the same: signer reassignment, set signer order. Also with the attachments here, it's going to be the same there. So let's move on to placing our fields down. Now again, you're going to notice this looks exactly the same. Now there's going to be one difference here that I want to point out. So I'm going to grab my text box and place this down here in this first option. I'm going to resize this a bit as well. Now, what I want to do here is this is going to be information that my requester is going to have every single time they actually use this template. So I want them to actually fill this information out so it's a more personalized experience for my signer. So instead of selecting me now, which means this would always be the same thing. So if I were to enter in, say, Holly here, then every single time this document is used, the name of child is always going to be Holly. The likelihood of every single person being named the same, not that high. So we don't want to rely on that. So what we're going to do is select sender. Now I want to scroll down to my merge field here. And I'm going to update what needs to go into this box, similar as our placeholder text, but this is going to be for internal purposes only. So I'm going to put name of child. So now when my users or requesters go to use this template, whenever they go to send this out, they do not have to actually go into this particular placing the fields down. They completely skip over this step. So it really saves time. But they are going to be able to enter in the name of child in the review and save step. So I can go ahead and let's place some fields down here and do another one here for my guardian. And then we can go to next. And now you can see you have the option to add a CC here if you have that enabled again, and add your template title and an optional message. And you can review your title or your signer roles here. All right, so to take a look at that, I'm going to go ahead and select sign or send again. Let's add our template. So working with the same option that I was just working with, so that permission slip, and select next and go ahead and enter in a signer here. There we go. And we can go ahead and enter in a signer for our guardian. And next. So you can see I have that name of child field here that all I need to go ahead and do is enter that here. And let's go there. If I want to, I can update my photo slip and then also an optional message and send for signature. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the signing experience. I'm just going to pull up my email really quickly. Bear with me while I pull this up. I do apologize for the delay here. Let me just grab this. All right. So I have my request. And you can see here that I can customize this. So I have that title of my document, the NDA for visit, signature requested by, and I have customized this to say Kate with HelloSign, which also populates here as well. Otherwise, it is something that is auto-populated by HelloSign. You can set this up to have each admin set it up, or you can set this up to have each individual user. We'll take a closer look at that when we go to settings. You're also able to set up your own logo here. So instead of having the HelloSign logo, which is going to be the standard, you can upload your own logo to this email. And then moving further down, you see that you have your message, your title, and then if you had a message here, that would populate here as well. So now we can go ahead and review and sign. All right, you'll see you have your personalized logo in the upper left-hand corner. You have your kebab menu here, which allows you to, if you had selected reassignment, that would be allowed there. You also have the decline to sign option here as well. If you do decline to sign, you will be required to put in a reason here. and that will then go out in an email notification to your requester as well as anyone CC'd. Now you'll also notice here that Tyler Johnson is already populated. That was because we filled that out with the me now. So now to go to my first field, I can easily just click here since we can easily see it's right there. However, if it was further down and I wanted to just go straight to that field, I can select get started. So let's go ahead and add information there. My next field here I can scroll to is going to be my initial, so I can click to initial. I already have my signature here, so, or sorry, my initials already saved since I've used this account once or twice to sign before. So those are already saved. However, your signers will be able to go ahead and enter that in by drawing or typing. I'm going to go ahead and use my saved. Now you have the option here to insert only in this one place or insert everywhere my initials are needed. So you can see that is now populated in both of these options. Scrolling further down, I have my click to sign. Again, I have my saved options. So I can go ahead and insert there. And we'll see here that my information has already populated here by entering in my name and the email address associated with this account because it was entered in when I went ahead and filled out my signer information. Now my title, let's go CEO here. Auto populates here. And then company, I can go ahead and fill that out as well. Let's do ABC. So you can easily fill those out if you do not have that already put in. Sorry, if you do not have that already filled out within your profile. So now I'll go ahead and continue. I now agree here. And I'm redirected to my thank you for submitting my documents page, which you can also customize by redirecting them to a page of your choosing. So if you wanted to redirect them to your own homepage or a page on your website, you would be able to do so within your settings. All right. So let's go ahead and jump back into our demo. And let's move into our documents page. So within your documents page, as an admin, you have the ability to see all documents throughout your entire account. However, if you are a member, a developer, or a team manager, you only have visibility into those documents that you have created, as well as templates that you've created, or any documents or templates that have been explicitly shared with you. When you come into your documents page, you're going to see all of your own personal documents here. You can search for a specific document by using the simple search. You also have the option for our more advanced search here. And then also you can drill in by status using these options on the left-hand side. When you click into the document's name, so basically anywhere in this general vicinity, you're going to be able to see a detailed list of who has signed, who hasn't signed, document ID for any troubleshooting, as well as your subject, so the title of your document, and any attachments or messages that you had included. With your drop-down menu here to the far right, you're going to have a couple of quick action items here, including send reminder. Now you can set up standard reminders that go out 3 and 7 days after you've sent the request and your signer hasn't signed. And you're also able to send these reminders manually as well. Another thing I wanted to point out here, which is the download as a CSV, that is only available on our Enterprise Plus plan. So with our templates, you're going to be able to jump into your template section here. and do the exact same options. Of course, you're going to have a few different, let's move into our templates, a few different options, of course, since you're working with a template and not a sent request. So with your slide out menu, you're going to be able to see your template ID. So if you are working with, say, the API, this is where you're going to be able to grab that. And then your quick actions menu, you're going to be able to duplicate. So say you have a template that is slightly different, you can easily duplicate it and then just edit that template. You can you can easily jump into using the template. And also you have the team access. So where you can easily enter in the name of a team or individuals that you would like to share this with. All right, moving into our integrations. These are going to be some of our out-of-the-box integrations. So if you already have an account with these, simply go ahead and select activate and follow your prompts here. So again, you do have multiple different options here. If you do see the option here to disabled and you're on our Enterprise Plus plan, the likelihood is that your admin has restricted this particular feature, such as box has been restricted on this account. So I would check in with your admin if you do see that and you do want to use that particular integration. Now there are two here, HelloSign for Salesforce and Zapier, that do require a little bit more, such as with Salesforce, it is an additional subscription. So you do have the option here for more information. All right, so let's pivot now and look into our settings. So again, if you are on our Enterprise Plus plan, you will have the admin console. We're going to take a look at our settings though, before we jump there. So jumping into my settings, all business plans and standard enterprise plans have access to business features. This is where the individual user has the ability to upload company branding, tagline, from field, email signature, as well as that redirect when you go to complete your document. So that thank you for submitting page, this is where you're going to be able to redirect them to a page of your choosing. If you see that any of these are grayed out, that would be because your admin has actually set this up and locked it down for the account, which we'll take a look at here in just a moment. You also have options to decide how you want to accept signatures from your signers. So if you want to only allow them to draw and type it, not upload, you're able to do so here, as well as a few other options. And then you have the save all the way down here at the bottom. So if you do make any changes, be sure to come all the way down to the bottom and save. Going back up to the top here, all accounts have access to the profile here. I highly recommend coming here right away when you set up your account. You can go ahead and fill out all of your personal information here, set your time zone and your date format, and have the autocomplete, or if you want to clear that autocomplete data, you have the ability to do so here. But this is where you're also going to manage your notifications. So I highly recommend coming in here and deciding how often you want to be notified from HelloSign, and set that up here. You're also able to set up your reminders here as well. And then emailing a PDF copy, this is where you're going to be able to set up that CC option. So that's the second option here. You'll want to make sure that you check this box off if you do want to have that CC option. You also have the ability to add in a little bit of security, extra security here. You're going to be able to add in a two-factor auth, either by text with the SMS verification or by the Google Authenticator. If you're an admin, you do have the ability to look at your account activity. And again, your save is all the way down at the bottom. We've already taken a look at the integrations. If you are interested in the API, if you already have an API plan, this is where you're going to be grabbing your API key. You can test out your callbacks, create apps. This is going to be your hub for your API here. If you don't have a plan, but you're curious about the API, you can always come here and test it out completely for free as well. And then you have the billing section that's going to let you know what plan you're on. You're also going to be able to update the address that your invoices or receipts populate. HelloSign does not proactively send these out, but you are able to come here and view any of those here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into our admin console. But before we do so, I do want to point out the features that we are going to look at are available to our enterprise and business plans by a tab that would populate here as a team tab. And then to invite new users, you would also have a team tab here that would allow you to invite new users. So within our admin console, you're able to invite new users. All you need to do is go ahead and enter in their email address. With a business and enterprise plan, all you would need to do is enter in the email address and click invite. With Enterprise Plus, just email address and what role you'd like them to be on, and if you're using multi-teams, what team. Over in our settings here, we're going to have our general. So this is where you're going to be able to upload your company name, tagline, and logo. And you're able to determine who gets to fill this out. So is it going to be the org admins only, so locking this down for every other individual on the account, so it is uniform looking? Or if you want this to be set up by your individual user, or if you're on multi-teams with Enterprise Plus, the admin or the team managers. So that's going to be for all of those options. If you do make any changes, you will have a save option down here at the bottom. Moving into our second set of settings here, you're going to be able to set up your from field, email signature. Again, you can decide if you want this to be set up by your admins or by the individual user. Also set up document title and messages, your time zone for your entire account, your date format, so the default date format. If you want signer auth options here, so being able to use those access codes or text message for that extra layer of security for verifying your signers. You have tamper proofing, URL forwarding, so that redirecting of the signers after they complete their signature request. So these are all going to be those same options that we saw with the business features. This is just going to allow the admin to decide if they want their individual users to be able to set this up or set it up for them. And then also the reminders down here, and you also have e-sign disclosure. This is an option that makes your signers opt in to e-signature process before signing, as well as agreeing to HelloSign terms of service at the end. So it's just going to be that extra option in the front. If you do require this, I would check with your own counsel on that just to see if that is something that you would require. And then you also have your security here. So if you're on an Enterprise or Enterprise Plus, you're going to be able to set up your SSO or require that multi-factor auth from your users. There are additional features here within your admin console that are only available on our Enterprise Plus plan. So if you do have any questions about those, feel free to go ahead and inquire. All right. So as we're wrapping up here, I do want to point out those additional tabs that I mentioned if you are on a business or enterprise plan. So here, this is what your main navigation menu on the left-hand side would look like. You have that team tab that allows you to enter in your new member's email and send that off by just selecting invite. You also have limited options on reporting here. You have a little bit more robust reporting within our admin console on Enterprise Plus, but you do have these options here as well. And then within your settings, you are going to have the team tab, as I mentioned, between the business features and the profile. And this is where you're going to be able to set up all that personal branding options that we just looked at in the admin console. So I do want to point out some resources available to you if you do have questions once you jump off this webinar today. You can always jump on our online community. It's a great place to connect with other users as well as other HelloSign experts. And then, of course, our Help Center, which you can use for the help articles, as well as our short tutorial videos and other webinars, such as our Ask the Expert, which is held every other Tuesday, which is just a live Q&A session that we hold. So those are going to be some great resources for you, as well as if you do have questions or issues that you're running into, you can always reach out to our support team at support@hellosign.com. So if you do have any questions, feel free to go ahead and enter them into the Q&A section of your Zoom control panel now. All right. So if we don't have any more questions today, I do want to thank everyone for joining. And again, if you do have questions when you jump off, feel free to check out our resources available to you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.